Porn and negative body image. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh, cognitive neuroscientist and sex addiction recovery coach. In this video, let's talk about how porn locks you in your body, gives you negative body image, has you see other people as bodies, and how that impacts your brain performance pattern. So number one, we're going to talk about you're more than just a body. We're going to talk about what you are. And when you tap into what you really are, you won't need porn in the end. It'll be easy, or easier at least, to give up. Then we're going to talk about your brain performance pattern. What happens when you are the true authentic version of yourself in your brain? What happens when your mind becomes distorted and you become locked in your body? And then of course, number three, your brain tip strategy for today. What you can do to back yourself out of this negative body image and what you can do to heal your brain, get on purpose, and ride off into the sunset. So let's dig in. Number one, what am I talking about? Body image, and what else is there? So we know from the science that more men than ever are struggling with body image. When we think about body image issues, we think of it as a woman's issue, and we know that it goes way back in history. And that's not what I'm here to talk about today. You know, you can dig into that because it's interesting in and of itself. But what we know is from the past few decades that more men struggle with body image. They compare themselves to men. I made a video on penis length because I know that that's something that people search up, and I know that it's driven from porn consumption, because when you view people on the screen who have, perceived better bodies than you, it makes you feel bad about yourself. But I want to remind you, porn is a supernormal stimulus. Those are performers. They are there for a reason. They are there to make you want to idolize them to a certain extent. They're there to make you become aroused by them. That is the point. But that is not healthy for you. And we're going to talk about how it shows up in your brain performance pattern. But before we do that, let's dive in a little bit to this whole body image thing. So when you have a porn habit, especially if it's frequent, consistent, and especially if it has any level of intensity to it, you get locked in your body. You're thinking about pleasuring your body all the time. We know that dopamine's involved. It's the pleasure-seeking neurochemical. It seeks more and more pleasure for your body, and it's utilizing your brain, which we're going to back up the bus to that in a second. But so what happens is you're locked in that body and you see other people as bodies for your pleasure, objectification of other women and men. And what that means is you see them as objects for your pleasure. That's what happens from a porn habit. But what can happen when you leave the screen is that you can get back to that true, authentic version of yourself. The one that you were born, the one that has your hopes and your dreams, the things you love to do, the things that you want to create, that you want to bring into this world, the way that you can serve the world, the way that you can be connected to other people, the way that you can be in joy and happiness and appropriate amounts of pleasure, the good stuff, the spice of life. That's your true authentic self. And some people conceptualize it as your spirit or as your soul, but your self is the real version of you, the true version, the one that knows what you want. Now, here's the problem. As we're growing up, that true authentic self version, our full potential version of ourself, is programmed out of us. So it's programmed out by our teachers, by our parents, by our religious organizations. It's programmed out by dysfunction, by trauma, by negative experiences. People tell you, stop drawing and get doing your math. Don't spend your time doing this. Spend your time working. You can't relax. You got to keep grinding. It's programmed out of you. The loves of your life, the work that gives you purpose, the connection and with people that gives you purpose, and the hobbies that give you purpose. Now, it's pretty easy to see that's the way back to your true authentic self. So I'll tell you about that in a minute, but let me just finish this concept. So the true authentic self is in there, and it uses your mind. Your mind is a tool. It can either create when it's on purpose, or it can miscreate or make when it's being used just for pleasure. So we know that pleasure and pain exist in the same area in the brain, and we know in an addictive cycle, pleasure always ends up in the same amount or more of pain. So we have two aspects of your mind. We have the aspect that's healthy and its purpose. We have the unhealthy aspect, which is pleasure seeking that ends up in pain. Those are your two choices on how you use your mind. That's really just what it is. Then your mind uses your body as the tool. So when you're on purpose, your mind can use your body to create. It can create the art that you want to create, the music. It can create videos on YouTube to help other people. It can do accounting for other people. It connects you to other people on purpose. Or if it's miscreating, it just goes into the world to want to use other people or technology for pleasure seeking to try to get you out of pain, but actually give you more. So that's how it works. Self goes to mind. Mind can split into two roads, one that goes on purpose that actually helps you to feel good and it gives you the optimal brain pattern and you use your body towards that, or one that miscreates and that just looks for pleasure seeking, which ultimately ends up in pain because it gives you a dysregulated brain pattern. So let's go to number 2. What am I talking about with neurological regulation or dysregulation? A regulated brain pattern is one that's using electrical energy that's in the middle, medium speed, for calm focus. So you feel chill. You feel on purpose, you feel engaged, you feel happy, you feel joy, you feel pleasure, you feel good. Or if you're using a dysregulated pattern, it's not in the middle, it's not using medium speed, it's using too much fast speed, which makes you feel anxious, it gives you social anxiety, it can make you feel depressed when it swings in the opposite direction, it makes you feel overdrive, go, 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 like you can never stop and never come down. It does not make you feel good. Simultaneously, we know from science that this extra fast brain speed also has a comorbid, coexisting pattern that's too slow. It makes you feel overwhelmed, it makes you feel fatigued, it gives you brain fog, lack of motivation, executive function skills fall apart so you can't plan and organize. It makes you feel like you want to go back into the screen for stimulation and arousal. So this pendulum effect of a dysregulated brain pattern keeps you locked in this addictive cycle. Pleasure equals pain. Pleasure, pain, pendulum swings. Okay, so number 3, your brain tip strategy. First of all, you have to stay out of the screen because when you keep going back in, you're having that pendulum keep swinging back and forth. It works like this. When you consume pornography, your brain gets a dopamine deluge, a flood. And so what you've done is inadvertently told your brain, hey, the screen's where all the dopamine is. Tons of pleasure in the screen. It creates a dopamine deficit in your life. There's no dopamine there. Why would I bother getting out of bed? Why would I bother thinking hard about work today? Why would I bother hanging out with my honey who I used to be attracted to and now I'm not? That's because of a dopamine deficit. So when you stay out of the screen and you go out of your way to get on purpose in your work, plan something. Think about your work and go do something that you've been meaning to do, but you haven't done because you haven't been able to muster up the energy of the motivation. When you muster up the energy and the motivation, you're going to reward your brain in the world. Then connect with people. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Plan a date with your honey. My hubs is picking me up very soon for a date because he trashed my truck and it's still not fixed. So he has to pick my action up to go to dinner. But he's probably waiting for me, honestly, so I have to wrap the video up. But go spend time with your person or your people and laugh. Laughter produces so much dopamine. I was literally cracking myself up yesterday. It was not even funny. And I would tell you the story, but it would be totally lost in the retell. But I was cracking my action up. My husband I buy the things for our children. I do purchase a lot of things off Amazon. And I did great this holiday season. But there literally was returns since October. There was 4 things that needed to be returned and they had to be returned by February 1st, which today's February 1st. I don't know when the video will be out, but that man sent his assistant to return it today. Ridiculous. And I was doing this whole role play thing and I was cracking up. But anyways, I'm going out to dinner to spend time with my peeps. And then third, hobbies. Go do the hobbies that you love. Be very intentional about it. So instead of just passively consuming what comes up on your phone or going into porn and passively just cruising through whatever you can to find the most pleasure possible, think about it intentionally. What did that little kiddo, my true authentic self in me, what did he love to do? And then plan it and go do it. And you're going to rewire your brain and tell your brain the dopamine's in the world, not the screen. And it's going to do wonders for you. So go check that out. Come out of your body, get back into yourself, and use your mind and your body as tools to be on purpose. That's what I mean when I say control your brain or it will control you. When you're controlling your brain, your mind and your body are your best tools ever. When your brain controls you through that dysregulated pendulum swings pattern, your body and mind are controlling you for pleasure seeking that ends in pain and derailing you from your purpose. So get back on purpose and you will get the pleasure in the world that you deserve. Okay. If you want help on this journey, reach out to me, drtrishleigh.com. And as always, control your brain or it'll control you.